Let's talk about getting engaged with purpose. My guess is for you, this is less hard in a way than it's ever been before. When Patty first asked me to speak to a DRJ conference many, many years ago, there were, I don't know, maybe a third this number of people in the room, and most of those people were fighting a battle, trying to get people inside their own organization to understand how important business continuity was, how important it was to plan for what could happen, what might happen, what probably would happen. I remember when the 9/11 attack so tragically occurred, my wife and I were watching on TV, as I'm sure the rest of you were, and we were crying and crying and crying, and she looked over at me and she said, "You know, I just thought of something crazy. There's a phrase in the English language that now has to be scrubbed from our language, and the phrase is, nobody will ever do that." Because suddenly, the unthinkable was now doable, the unimaginable was now possible, the impossible was now probable. So one of the things we have to be if we're going to be engaged with purpose is to be initiative takers. Initiative takers. You know this. You have to play the what-if game all the time. A couple of years ago, I was reading a wonderful book. Maybe you've seen the book. It's available in your business bookstores in trade paperback. It's called How to Be a Star at Work. It's written by a fellow named Dr. Robert Kelly, a professor at Carnegie Mellon University in Pittsburgh. Dr. Kelly went into initially the Bell Laboratories organization and then expanded his study in a variety of other organizations and tried to look at what were the traits of the absolutely highest level performers in those organizations, the really creme de la creme, the elite. The number one trait that he found among those people was that they take the initiative in both ideas and in actions. And he said the two things they do constantly is they literally look for problems to solve. And I know many of you out there are saying, whoa, I have too many of those already, thank you. But they look for problems to solve. But then there's this other thing that they do, which is, I think, one of the hardest things, one of the most creative challenges we all have, and that is, he phrased it this way, they look for the white spaces. When everybody else is looking at the print on the page, they're looking at the white space. When everybody else is looking at what is going on, they're trying to think of what might go on, what could go on. If you're one of those people, you're going to be able to answer that challenge of engaging your organization with purpose, because that becomes your purpose, doesn't it? This could happen. This could happen. We need to take this preventative step, this backup step. We always need to be considering what could happen. To get people to take that initiative, what he found was that you have to engage them with values and beliefs, not features and tactics. Values and beliefs, not features and tactics. Any of us who have ever had the privilege of managing a group of people, large or small, have probably run into that as a challenge. When I was 25 years old, I was the news director of a small NBC television affiliate in Richmond, Virginia. I had 17 people working for me, 14 of whom were older than I was, 3 of whom thought they were going to get the job. Kind of a tense situation. It's also the first time in my life I ever had a secretary. That was a little odd. It's kind of like having a caddy, you know? It's like I'd always been used to basically carrying my own clubs. Now all of a sudden I had this woman coming into my office asking me what she needed to do. Her name was Jennifer, and she really was just a wonderful person. She was fast and accurate and friendly and delightful, and then there was this one thing. She was late a lot. She was late maybe 2 days a week. Not a lot late, just a little late, but it was important because as a news operation, we would sit down every morning at 8 o'clock with our staff and go through those. Somebody was covering the school board, and Richmond is a state capital, so somebody was covering the state capital, and somebody was covering this county and that county and so on. And I wanted Jennifer to be there because she was really going to be coordinating things all day. She would be late. I'd ask her to come into my office and say, "Jennifer, look, you got to do something about being late." Well, she'd say, it was a train coming across the tracks that I have to cross every day, and it was particularly slow today. Or my cat threw up in my husband's loafers, or I don't know, whatever it was. She had a variety of excuses. Well, I was getting pretty frustrated, but I was also, at 25, brilliant, you know, because I had been to one management seminar, and in that management seminar, they said, praise in public, and then what? Criticize in private. So the next time Jennifer came in late, I said, "Jennifer, my gosh, you look great. You're looking wonderful. Can we talk in my office?" That didn't seem to work. A couple of more days went by. We were in the middle of a very critical morning meeting, and I thought, if she isn't here, and if she comes in late this time, I'm going to shine the spotlight of poor performance on her. You know those old prison movies where the guys are sneaking out of the trying to sneak out along the wall, and suddenly the light comes like that. Sure enough, about 18 minutes into the meeting, here comes Jennifer tiptoeing in, And I decided to make a calculated risk. I decided I'm going to criticize in public. And I can do that because I have a big voice. And so as she walked past the back of the room thinking she was sneaking in, I went, "Jennifer!" It didn't echo that way, but I wish it had. Every eye in the room went to her. She looked like the deer, I said, do you have any idea what time people come to work in this office? This sweet little gal from Powhatan County, Virginia, looked right into my eyes and said, "No, they're always here when I get in."